As Rift we ride for game 2 of Genius Esports taking on Team Secret. It was an absolute slobber knocker in game 1, and I can only hope for a repeat. Though, of course, the early game, or at least the ultra early game, does appear to be nice and quiet.
It definitely does, and I would usually expect the Lucian Nami to come out from the side of Slater and Zodiac, but Zodiac isn't playing right now, so it's not a repeat of the Team Flash from the spring split we had before. And I really wonder how BOB can pilot this Nami champion. Of course, Nami, not like the pinnacle of mechanical brilliance, I would say, but positioning very important on that champion, and also the placement of the tidal waves. Also see some Namis hitting like every bubble and some hitting neither of those, as it is one of the harder skill shots in the game, so to say, as you just cover a small area on the ground with a huge delay and not really align as you would maybe do on something like a Morgana. So Nami players definitely support players you would watch out for, as there's a lot of mechanical finesse that you either have or don't have.
For sure. And, as Nami's champion spotlight says, even if you miss your wave, you do split the enemy team apart, and that's what really matters. Bit of cope. But early on, Slater was confident enough to walk up, so they do have early wave control down in this bot lane. Biob loses a soul, not what you want. And that's obviously something we're going to have to track as this game goes on, is how fast Eddie can get those souls into him. He is, of course, the fasting center. So I want to see Zhu Hao actually farming these up.
Exactly. Duo will likely have some trouble against the double range lane to really get the CS numbers going strong. But of course, as long as Eddie is farming souls, it will not be the end of the world if they happen to drop a few in that regard. And the wave in a position where it's kind of fine for the side of Team Secret. The wave will bounce, however, and in the middle of the lane it is of course harder to fight the Lucian Nami lane. But in the current moment, it is very, very fine for them. As we see the top lane skirmish, oh, he misses the boulder. And that boulder you can't miss. I mean, the Gnar grand matchup is good for Gnar, but if you miss your skill shots, of course, it's not looking that easy for you.
Yeah, no, that's not worked out whatsoever. And we really are seeing, this almost looks like it's just a bit of a weird replay from game 1, as we saw almost that exact same trade in the mid lane coming out when it was Artifact on the Yone. Now, this may well be something that you can't answer, but do you think that there might be a build difference because Blazers has gone TP instead of Exhaust?
I wouldn't really mark it on the Summoner spells, actually. I think you just go the same item build anyway, and if you don't do it, it won't really change based on the fact that you chose here TP. I think you would still go for the Blade Sunfire build here, but if you go the standard build that was before in meta, which was Shield Bow and Infinity Edge, I wouldn't be too surprised either. Gotta say though, I think the other build is just too good not to go, so you should go for the Sunfire build. And Artifact, he's actually kind of struggling right now. I think in the reverse matchup, it was kind of better for the Corki. It was at least the Corki farming next to the Yone. And with Artifact being low HP, he is a diveable target potentially for the Viego. So Artifact definitely has to watch out.
And Viego is coming around, is getting some vision. They're trying to figure out where Penguin is, but with the back coming in from Artifact, there's not going to be too much going on. Did manage to farm out that wave, has the teleport as well, so he should be okay. But look at this push in the bottom side. GE just has full control at the moment.
They have full control at the moment and can maybe turn it into the first wave that will, of course, spawn in a little bit less than a minute. And the bot priority, of course, something that cannot be established by the side of Team Secret. Bubble just now missed, and this is a way in maybe for the side of Team Secret.
Oh, there's the snare. Slater has to flash and the heal. Every summoner being burned from Genius, as a teleport as well has to be called. It does stop the play, but look at the resources this expends.
This is really a small disaster for the side of GE, I would say. I mean, no kill going down. First blood yet to be built. And you just not see that. Lucian Nami might be a little bit overrated, as it can die to Senatam Kench all-ins very early on, and it would maybe have happened here in the 5th minute already, and it won't get better from here, I would say. So definitely something that can play a part. Also, burning the TP so early before a potential Drake, not something that Blazes wanted on the Yone. He's on 2 daggers, not the ideal start for him. And yeah, just now Penguin, of course, knows the TP placement timing is not ideal from the side of GE, just goes instantly for the Drake and gets Artifact to help.
I think there's also the fact that they called the TP basically screams that Viego is on the top side because he had absolutely no chance to respond. So overall, good read by Team Secret. GE have absolutely no chance at that dragon. So this time, we are seeing a reverse of the first game. It is Team Secret that will get the early Drake.
Yeah, exactly. At least in that
Oh,
regard, right?
no.
In the gold.
Never mind.
Never mind. Yeah, just some trading of ultimates, right? Although the Gwen isn't even level 6 yet, so Kodak didn't have one, and he still fought the Na away in the 1v1. Very impressive, of course, how Gwen manages to do such a thing. Now she also got her level 6 power spike and could use the needlework if she prefers to do so. Gotta say, the Mega Na ultimate is pretty low. You can basically use it every time you transform into Mega Na, so using that on its own doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, I don't think Hero will be too concerned. I think he was scared about Yijin joining the fight. I don't think they knew quite where he was at the time. Because you don't want to give Viego anything if you can avoid it. They do now know where he is as he crosses over the mid lane. Artifact has managed to stabilize himself in mid, has the tier, stacking that one up, going very fairly even in farm with Blaze, just the tiniest bit behind. Overall, it's just a very slight gold lead over to GE.
And I think that might just not be enough because, unlike last game, this is Team Secret losing a little bit more gracefully and also being on the more scaling picks as the center time Kench lane is compared to the Lucian Army lane. So I think that is something that also plays in their part. And them this time having the Corki against the Yone and not the other way around. Corki is a champion that is a little bit more reliable, I would say, as he can just land the poke and eventually goes big ones with it.
There's been a disaster top lane for GE. How is I need to know how this has happened. I wish we were looking because there's also a fight. Gwen has burned her ghost and her TP, but then had to reset. So she lost a whole wave and a tower plate. I'm not sure how Hero made that happen.
They had Penguin around for the top side all the time. And
yeah,
I think
Zhu Hao in a bit of trouble, trying to turn around onto Biob, has to flash away from the bubble. Slater dashing out of the snare. There's the E going forward. We go immediately to the top lane as Penguin gets chased out of his jungle. Back to bot. And Slater's going low. They want to try and farm this catfish, but he's got another shield. Biob's in so much trouble. There's the kill going over to Zhu Hao as Eddie brings the damage. And yeah, Lucian Nami might be a bit overrated.
Lucian Nami is becoming a bit of a meme, but this time I gotta just give credit to the players itself, like Eddie and Johor. Have we ever seen them being hit by an Aqua Fizz in this game? I have only seen them sidestepping like 3 in a row so far, and of course, if you manage to do that and have the all-in pressure with the time catch coming out, it is very hard to play for the Lucian Nami. And here you now see Lucian getting zoned away from the wave by his own wife. That was kind of brutal, and also them getting plates right now. Spills small disaster for GE in both side lanes.
It really does, and this is absolutely not what they want. You don't want this center picking up tower plates. It doesn't quite get to. That one does have a modicum of health left. As the culling comes out, trying to get it back, a bit of a domestic abuse going on here. As in goes the railgun, and Eddie comes out on top. Biob has to run away, and oh no, it's disaster for Genius.
That's disaster for sure. They're all in coming out by the side of Senna. Also a Dawning Shadow this time being up and available. The cooling, of course, deals a lot of damage, but it kind of makes you predictable as to where you stand. And of course, with a single bit of slow or any kind of other CC hitting that can easily land. This time, that's a new one. An Aqua Prison landing by the side of BOB. I haven't seen that at all, I think, in my entire life, as I just now see the first series of BOB. And yeah. Team Secret really showing that they are like the more resilient team, I would say, with the bot lane doing so well. Getting also another turret plating, something that definitely speaks in their favor, and them accelerating in both gold and getting the first wake spells a small disaster for the side of Genius Esports.
Yeah, it absolutely does. The fact that Eddie has already got that serrated Dirk and the full boots is definitely not what they wanted to see. Yijin has not been able to have the early impact that he was able to have in game one. Of course, he is on a very different champion. Now Artifact in trouble, but the CC misses and Valkyrie on out.
Valkyrie out is all he needs. It's basically his pseudo-flash, so to say, as to expect any kind of gang. And if he is ready to use it, he can just use it instead of a flash. Very easy to do for him. Also, Hero got another turret plate on his own. So this time the Narc Ven matchup making it a bit easier for him. Just now at a point where he can kind of survive for damage, but deal a lot of it on his own with his half-bound X being in his inventory. Will be a Triforce Gnar this game, as far as I can tell. Could go for the Wits and theoretically, but I wouldn't expect it on the Gnar, as that would make his item build very, very offensively, even more so than a Triforce into tank build would be.
Ooh, the needlework does come out. Flash has been burned, as has the ghost from Coded. Hero has to respect the damage that this Gwen can do. So he does manage to shove that wave in. Good clap back there from Coded.
Yeah, definitely done so by him. And I really wonder how this
Dives
matchup will
incoming.
turn. Yeah, dive is incoming. Viego is around, so Hero in his best interest to just defend the wave as good as he can. Also, as a Mega Knight, not that easy to dive, right? Because he had that much HP and can also, if he would have it, he could use a Mega Knight and just knock them into the turret. But that Mega Knight ultimate is down, so that couldn't be used by him. And yeah, this time though, they saw Viego was top. So again, a free drag by the side of Team Secret, and GE really needs to find a plan in this game because just now it doesn't look like they find really any openings.
Yeah, and with they're not able to punish for tower plates in the top side either. So Coded manages to shove the wave in. He gets a good back, but that's not worth trading for a dragon. And it just seems like Team Secret, they were a little bit sloppy on their execution. I think they had a really good game plan in game one, but the execution wasn't quite there. But this time, it seems like everything's going right.
Yeah, everything going according to plan for the side of Team Secret. I think the only small opening that GE maybe has is his top lane matchup where a Gwen, assuming she would get a lead onto the Gnar, could just easily run down the Gnar over and over again in the long side lane with popping the Ghost. But so far, that just doesn't look to be the case at all. She's down 20 CS, she is down the plates, and not a single kill by the side of GE. Actually, right now, with this, I will probably jinx it, but they are about to get perfect gamed here.
That's a bold call, Quincy. Perfect gamed. All right, in the VCS, where we fight over everything. Chat, hold him to it. He said it. As Tom Kent will move forward, and now a teleport is coming out. Jim House in trouble, gets knocked up. And can we get a caster curse as Tom Kent goes down and the perfect game is gone?
I just said just to make it
as well. Penguin in some trouble, has the Cyclone, but there's the pop and 2 kills for GE. Quincy, how much are you winning from this game? How much did you put on GE?
Nothing. Either way. I mean, you heard it in my voice that I was feeling that it will happen. I mean, I would say
Yep.
I will jinx it with this call, and so I did. Here we see the Herald charge, and unaffecting a lot of damage. But I think they can maybe stop the charge, yeah. I think he can just poke it out.
Oh, what was that movement, Shelly? Oh, does stop it, but did a little bit of a moonwalk there to stop Artifact stopping it early. Doesn't matter though. He stops it before it hits the tower, and that's what matters. As this was a little bit too far by Team Secret.
Definitely was. At least they forced to teleport out by the side of Coded to really make it a one-sided affair. And Abyssal dive missing. You look like a clown this time, Kenji. If you dive between turrets and don't even hit your key ability with this 2 cleanup kills by the side of GE, and the game get a little bit more closer, or at least it looks to be the case. As of course that TP managed to give Hero some free time on this top lane tier 1 turret, and that is almost gone by now. Turret planning is also still on the table. That means he must have gotten 4 of them, and still, despite those 2 kills, not a lot of signs of life by the side of Genius Esports. The game is still looking pretty rough for them.
It really, really is. As Eddie, I'm not sure if we have gotten the recent soul check. I was like trying to keep track of that. He's got that Umbral Glaive. Aqua Prison hits, but the follow-up is not available, not with Tom Kench that close by. Snare as well. You know, skill shots being traded. Both of them just kind of saying, oh yeah, if you've got good accuracy, so do I. Bit of showing off. As this is a tower.
Blood to it, yeah. It's a very huge gold swing that's up on the table, and it's basically those two getting it on their own almost. There haven't been that much getting attention from either lane. And if there was, I would say it would have been more in the favor of GE actually. So definitely Eddie and Ju are stepping up this game in that regard. Artifact here, we saw him burning his Valkyrie, which was maybe needed to evade something coming out.
Oh, Penguin has moved down the bot lane, but Slater with a dash and a flash will get back under his tower.
Yeah, Flash is traded by the side of the Wukong and the Lucian. Of course, the Lucian still has his relentless pursuit to maybe get out of trouble regardless of that, but had to use that as well. In the meantime, Herald number 2 taken by the side of Genius Esports. They can, of course, use that to get another Herald charge. And maybe this time they actually get a full charge. Of last time we saw that how that charge went. Was Artifact very well defending it. And that charge alone might kill the paintings are gone. That means the damage is slightly increased. But no! The charge is not strong enough.
No, not quite. It does about 3/4 of the tower, by my guess. It wasn't quite there. So GE really struggling to find an angle to clap back. Their Gwen is still farming away, but he's 30 CS down compared to the Nard. Does not have that mythic item yet. Critzy, I'm getting worried for them.
Yeah, she's their main win condition too, so it's kind of a disaster for them. That's like, this is a small angle still for like maybe Viego resets in the team fight if they happen to get a catch. How do you get a catch against Senator Kench? That's also kind of hard to do. Wukong now also surprisingly tanky. The Corki may be the easiest target, but he will also have his flash key and his Valkyrie key ready, or maybe even the package, depending on what situation you really are in. And Team Secret just happily farming away next Drake, about to spawn, and also the vision control around the Drake area looks pretty fantastic, so to say. The botlane player established it with both top laners facing there and now being out of the Gwen right now. Half HP chunked from the Nami just casually through one Tanglish and one Curse of the Black Mist.
Black Mist, yep. I was going to say, Crincy not knowing an ability name, surely not. But you got there in the end.
That doesn't happen here.
Exactly. You spend that much time on Sporkle. The tower has gone down on the top side. Artifact will back, has teleport to try and get towards fight if they want to try and go towards this dragon. But I think they can just give this one up. Ooh, Hero, don't get caught. He's in trouble. Over the blast cone is used. It doesn't take him down. And now they collapse into the pit. Penguin can get over the wall, but chooses not to. As the smite comes in, GE will pick that one up. Hero finally falls, as does the Wukong. I don't know about this one, Team Secret. Eddie, you've got a lot to do. Picks up that first kill. Yijin ults over the wall, and the Gwen was trying to hide the recall, but can't quite do it. This should be a kill picked up, but the package was used. Bit of a spite package there. Team Secret, I don't love that execution. Oh no.
I don't
Hang on a minute. Walking into a few of them is the Catfish. And he gets taken out. Another kill back in the pockets of Genius Esports.
Yeah, it's 3 for 2 and the Drake for them. Yeah, definitely them coming out ahead of it. But it was also very riskily done by them, as Penguin could have maybe went for the smite steal and chose not to do so, just went for the fight. And the fight kind of split by the side of Team Secret. And the problem was that Blazes found a very good Yona engage onto the backline and just could stall the minion of ever. Here we see it again. Nami Wave coming out, and look at poor Hero. I mean, he just has to fight this Blade of the Wound King Yone and just gets hit by every chunk of damage. Meanwhile, Eddie a bit late to the fight, and the TP from Hero also. No, it's not Hero, it's actually Artifact, who's kind of late for the party. And the Drake can be rushed by the side of GE. They can play this unfair teamfight and split Team Secret apart, and this is one thing that they can maybe still do in this game, with Yone really separating the targets and Coded, yeah, of course, being a little bit on this lonesome, but he got the job done beforehand. And yeah, you call it a spite package, but I think the package will likely not be used for anything else either. Might as well use it to really secure that kill nice and quick. Then we see Zhuo just face taking a wash and dying as well. So even with that,
Hero tried to make it happen, didn't quite get there, but didn't really lose anything to give it a crack, and they get the tower anyway. So Team Secret do manage to fire back well as they get out onto the map. Despite that play, they are, of course, 3k gold ahead, so still in a good position. Eddie is still extremely strong as well. He was not the one that paid for his team's sins in that last fight, so the center still able to scale up extremely well.
Absolutely. But I wonder if these fights can be played like the last one, where GE kind of manages to split them apart and then just still get the objective done. Because if that happens multiple times, then Team Secret is really in for some trouble. All just depends on whether the Yone is really finding his angles in these fights. Last time he did. Maybe next time he won't. It shouldn't have been a Drake where GE really had any chance to fight it, as they were down in gold and also down in map and vision pressure. And GE with that, having a small comeback yet again. I mean, I just need to remind you of last game, where GE all of a sudden suddenly had a Hextech Soul, and the game was really down to a coin flip and maybe a single ability hitting, and then Team Secret winning it off that, and could happen again.
It certainly could. And I mean, I wouldn't say no. As someone that just wants high octane league, I'm always down for a bit of a fiesta if it means I get some good VCS style fights. But so far, remarkably restrained from these teams. We're only at 9 kills in 20 minutes. This is glacial pace for the VCS.
Yeah, are we casting the correct league is what I really would ask here. Aside from that, item builds coming out from Hero is really interesting. I think that he is going for Triforce into full tank, and I really like that because he basically is just needed for these Mega Nars, and he wins the side lane against the Gwen with the Triforce anyway. Yeah, here we see Tank Yone, nice damage coming out, but he also gets chunked quite a bit by Artifact, but he gets the flash for free, so that is something that he really likes to claim for himself and could be huge. Because a good catch onto the Corki means that Team Secret maybe cannot fight these team fights. Also, speaking of those, it's a poke Corki. If he doesn't land some poke before the fight starts initially, his value in the team fight itself is not that high.
Yeah, that's very true. Artifact very much having to switch gears was, of course, so does Blazers, as they have to switch places in the matchup, going from all-inning every time to playing much more defensive, much more back, much more slow. As we've got 45 seconds on this next Mountain Drake, and I actually think it's a bit disastrous if GE do manage to start stacking these Mountain Drakes up, because it really hurts. Oh my god! And he taking so much damage. Is lucky he had Zhu Hao there, managing to get him on out of there, but this Lucian is still a threat.
Definitely is. With Lucian Nami, we were kind of mocking them initially. Now they are on their power spike with the Gale Force coming out full offensively and also Imperial Mandate coming out for the Nami. So it's the point where Lucian Nami is maybe the strongest in the game, which is, of course, the early mid game. And now they can really start to be a threat. Eddie, however, just now can start to slowly heal up. But there's maybe an angle to get chunked out again.
Culling chunks him on down, and they're immediately going to pull the trigger. The wave knocks up Penguin. There's the railgun going over the team, trying to buy them space. And look at this health bar lead that GE has now. They have used some ultimates, though, so they need to be very, very careful. They've only got access to Viego ult. Artifact is full health, as is Hero, trying to build a Mega Nub, but he gets caught by a bubble. Goes down low. There it is, secured by the Gwen. GE pick up the Dragon, but in goes Team Secret. 1-for-1 at the moment. That gives Viego a reset. Absolute disastrous stuff. Oh, we can't gnar him away.
Oh.
Does manage to get the Heartbreak over the wall. And GE get out of there with a 1-for-1 and the Dragon in their favor.
Another one fight by the side of GE, where, of course, Slater just chunking out Eddie twice before the fight could really start. It just could have been rushed down by the side of GE. Penguin also having to use his flash defensively before and couldn't get into the pit here. And here, very huge that the Heartbreaker comes out. And that, of course, denies Yijin being down for a potential maybe Baron Rush, but it could have been pulled off by the side of Team Secret. But like this, Team Secret yet again caught with their pants down, being sleeping a little bit, and their gold lead, of course, it's still there, but it's not really extending by much. And GE gets tankier and tankier, and we have seen them have poor Drake control last game as well. It could be a greater issue for them, especially if GE can do that once again. It will just show that GE is really able to claw themselves back into this game and maybe even take a win here.
Maybe, Crincy, but we have a long, long road to go before we know who will be coming out of top in this series tonight. That is a lovely 3-man binding there by Eddie. Not that 92 it really souls. Matters. 92 souls. That's not bad. We don't have your way around to give us his verdict on whether or not this is a respectable center performance.
You would just say it's bad. It should be more. It should be 5,000.
Yeah, of course. Because that's how many your way gets. He gets that at like 5 minutes. It's kind of crazy. As Eddie once again eating a culling, taking so much damage.
And we see this too often, right? It's the third time in the last few minutes where it really happened that this alone, of course, he can heal up slowly with his own piercing darkness, but it's just not something that takes quite a while to just heal 100 HP time and time again. And the culling, of course, very much hurting them. And the 5v fights itself are not that easy to play for Team Secret. As I said before, the poke needs to land by the side of the Corki, and if you get poked out, you, of course, are in a very disfavorable position. And gotta say also, what we might underestimate is Nami also being a very huge sustain asset against the poke coming up by Team Secret. So even if the poke lands, it's not that easy to play for them. Here we see Hero maybe being caught.
Yeah, maybe. He has the double hop, but with Yijin burning the flash and moving in, this should be a Gnar going down. He's going to try and buy as much time as he can. If he can keep too busy, it's actually a really big deal. Coda doesn't land the snip, gets slowed by the boomerang. Oh, Hero, if you can find another hop, this is absolutely incredible. I wish we were looking at his cooldowns right now. As he continues to work out, he's pulled a third one to the bottom side. He finally falls, but this might get them a Baron.
It might actually do, but Coded has
No,
CP.
they
He
pull
could
off.
just easily join. They pull off. I think they have to pull off as well. But Hero, of course, bought a lot of time, but bought a lot of time for nothing, sadly enough, as he couldn't really get more out of it.
Ooh, Zhuhao moving forward. In goes the package. Lands onto 3. Has to immediately use his second Valkyrie out. Gets to Zhuhao, but look at this health bar damage. Eddie not really able to enter the fight other than the railgun. So it is just going to be health damage, but it looks like Team Secret want to go towards the worm. They're going to start up Nasher.
They start up Nasher, but TP instantly coming up by the side of Kota to really contest this fight, or in this case, it is actually the TP coming out from Blazes, and Team Secret maybe rushing it down, but Yijin is around.
Yeah, Blazers takes so much damage. 4k health. Yijin needs to find his way towards the pit. Slater rips out the culling. Yijin, of course, can heartbreak into the pit as well. It's going to come down to a smite fight as Penguin is spinning in the pit, trying to do everything he can. Artifact going incredibly low. The Baron is getting lower and lower. One jungler's dead. Yijin with a smite, and GE have picked themselves up the Baron buff. Eddie now on the run, but a heartbreak from Yijin will make that one difficult. Coded bearing down on him, but Eddie will escape. But GE with a massive play to get themselves the Baron, to get themselves close in gold and get themselves into the lead.
And what was Team Secret really thinking, going for this Baron flip of all people, and then, of course, not even making the flip as Penguin falls down to the damage from Yijin itself. It means 2-4-0 for the side of GE, Baron on top of them for them. And then the Drake fights were already hard to play for them. Here we see again how it happened. Of course, Yone with the tank item build can buy a lot of space, a lot of time for the members of Genius Esports, and here we see the whole team can basically easily just throw into the pit. Nobody can really zone them off, and Team Secret kind of leashing just the Baron for the side of Genius Esports. The Drake fights were already hard. The next time will be even harder, as now priority will be established for the Baron empowered minions, and the next Drake itself can, of course, be easily fought with GE by now, almost equalizing the gold department as well. And Team Secret, very much lacking in the objective control. I really expected more from them.
Round 2, Quincy, as they've gone immediately to the Dragon. The Baron has not actually established anything yet, but Hero gets taken down so low. Slater flashes forward and kills the Gnar. This is it. You have to leave, Team Secret. I don't think you can do this without your top laner.
I don't think they can, but maybe they
you can find
feel pressure to do something.
I don't think they can. They just back on off. It's not Soul. It's only Soul Point, but GE has turned this game on its head. And Quincy, they've got the mental resilience.
Yeah, gotta say, we can also need to credit them. I mean, just now, remember how they lost the first game, and they still pull off this in the second game. Eddie's dead, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't quite know it yet, but here comes Yijin. The Heartbreaker is used. Actually doesn't quite get him, but with Coded coming in, he's still alive, Quincy, but in the end, finally will go down. Oh my word, that took some time. But the ADC is dead nonetheless.
Is dead nonetheless, but a valiant effort, I must say, for buying so much time instead of Eddie. Just similar to Hero either a few minutes ago, though it doesn't really bring them much, as the Baron is done, the Drake is done, and Team Secret really struggling in this game with giving GE too many openings at this time. And by now, of course, Lucian Nami, with getting all those kills back into Slater. Slater also making good use of something that Lucian Nami always has, which is, of course, outplay potential, as Lucian always is a champion that can use his agency with his mobility and skill shot affinity to really just make an advantage for himself, really finding the picks in the mid game. And by now, of course, Coded as well. I mean, Gwen is one of those champions that can make insane use of a Baron, as it is such a strong push and can easily, once she is farmed, which she is by now, make a big impact. By now, she is almost a full item ahead against the Gnar, or no, she's actually not. I'm kidding. But they are both on 3 items by now, and can easily match whatever Gnar has in the scaling department, as Gwen is just such a brutal duelist.
For sure, this gets harder and harder for Team Secret, and it has come down to, as you have said a few times, a lack of Corky Poke actually landing. We need to see Artifact able to land these rockets, actually able to pepper them up before the engage comes in. And it's very hard because they're very tanky.
It definitely is, and the fight is about to start, but the Pogus ironically landing from Team Secret for once.
But Yijin sneaking around the back. And of course, Gwen is that ticking fuse. Burning fuse. I'll just work that out. As another tower is going to go down. Team Secret not really getting anything done. Yijin cutting a wave as well. What a weird map state we're in. As they're going to try and get onto this Viego, but I don't think they can. And that was a genius move by Genius.
Yeah, Genius really showing them or really abusing the fact that Team Secret cannot really collapse onto any position here. So Gwen gets to push the side lane. The rest of the squad can play in the mid lane, and while they are also not in a position where they can really be realistically engaged, it is just Genius Esports running them around the map and getting a turret for free, which of course further stabilizes them into this mid to late game and give them another small piece of map control, another small piece of gold that the Gwen can maybe use. We just now see that she's going for the death cap at another item, which of course will make her spike even harder once she manages to complete that one. And so far, Genius Esports, as one of the newer teams, definitely showing up, despite the loss in the first game, which they also could have won, by the way. So they would maybe be close to a 2-0 here if it wouldn't be for that Genius team fight coming up on the side of Team Secret, ironically. And yeah, we are maybe in a place where the VCS is full of maybe 7 contending teams. And that is a very beautiful thing to see.
For sure. And I don't want to write off ASE yet. Their first outing was not what we want, but as I said in our pre-game, there's still plenty of time for them to go and get better. So hopefully we have an 8-team league, a real 8-team league. But of course, it's only day 2, Crincy. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. It's Team Secret and GE continue to square off. GE 1 minute away from a crack at Mountain Soul. Baron 30 seconds as well. This allows GE to potentially force the Baron for Dragon trade where Team Secret is put into that lose-lose position.
It's absolutely something that they can maybe strive for. We saw in last game how Team Secret did it the wrong way with giving the soul when they really shouldn't have, and then rushing the Baron, and it just being more of a thing of luck that they actually managed to do so. Here, maybe they can get a pick on Yijin, but Yijin's, of course, on the Viego is quite mobile with the Spectral Maw coming out of that, and then getting invisible with the Herald Path on his own. And here, Yone always in the snare.
Oh, that's not ideal, but he does manage to get back to the soul. So Blazers is chunked, but not dead. Hero comes out of Meganar. But so any chance of a follow-up fight, not really good enough here for Team Secret. And they did use that Cyclone as well. And with the teleport available for Blazers, this might actually end up favorable for Genius.
Might actually do, because Cyclone is not a good trade against what Blazers just now lost, which is basically nothing, as he just used his HP bar for it, and now can use the TP. And this is, of course, a smart play. Team Secret, yeah, they really want this Drake more than GE will.
No.
And GE can just go for Baron. But there's a package on Artifact.
Oh, but look over the wall. They find Eddie. Zhuhao does manage to get the gobble, but that is still a lot of damage onto the center. They're moving on in. Hero very close to a Meganar, but doesn't do it. And GE just backs off. And they'll say, hey, we can do this ring around the rosy forever. Artifact, the package was timing out, so he has to use it. Oh, I think you just send Penguin over the wall to try a steal and just send someone to get the dragon.
That's exactly what you should do, but they are just too late. They just watch them do the Baron. Yeah. At least he was on the consolation prize and is getting the 3rd mountain break on their own, but they now have to fight against another Baron. And this is late game Gwen by now. The Gwen in the side lane cannot be matched by anyone directly. So by now Team Secret is in a very huge problem. He takes like virtually half an hour to finish this Drake, which is why he's missing in the defense right now. And maybe one good poke and it could be a dive from the side of GE to just end the game.
It certainly could. They have that Yone ultimate as well ready. In he goes, finds himself onto the backline, but Artifact will survive, gets bound up, and in goes the Wukong with the Cyclone, but Penguin's just not tanky enough. Gets the shield from the center. That should keep him alive, as that last little bit of burn damage does come through. Ooh, this game is on a knife's edge, Crincy, and it is Genius that wield the blade.
Genius wielding blade, as you say. Now, soul point for both teams. 5k gold is the lead for Genius Esports by now. I mean, remember that they have been struggling to get really equal in gold for a long time in this game. And we see in the last few objective trades that Team Secret was really not coming out on top of that. And the seller damage kind of not mattering at this current stage, because everyone kind of has like a small shield or has enough tankiness. We also see the Frozen Gauntlet item build coming out for side of Blazes. It's not the Sunfire, so its direct damage is a bit lower, but he actually can take skill shots pretty well, as he is actually straight up bigger than other units would be, and can also use these low fields to really make it annoying for the side of Team Secret in these fights, and definitely just a huge chunk of zone control for Slater on the Nami empowered Lucian to fight, and for, of course, Gwen and Viego to really pull through in these team fights. And of course, the Na by now is not really a champion anymore. It's basically just a worse Malphite, basically, with this Mega Na engage, and cannot really have these high impact team fight abilities anymore.
Yeah, it is going to be very hard for Hero to find a way to actually get into this game as Slater once again rips out a culling, and they follow it up with the Yone ultimate as well. They want to take down Juhao, take away that safety. It's a big nah, but not into the walls. Penguin chunked out as well. He needs to find a way into this fight, but it just doesn't exist. He goes down to the Viego. Eddie now in trouble, dodges that bubble, is trying to walk away, but can the legs carry far enough? Oh, Artifact with a big rocket, but it doesn't matter with the center falling. It's Corki and Na versus the world. And with a TP available for Coated, they're actually not going to try and go for the end. They are just going to keep it at an inhib.
I think Artifact just kind of saved the game with that big one onto BOB to really get the kill. Otherwise, the sustain would be forever instead of GE to just really keep the push going. Like this, it was a small chance that Artifact just killed them all when they are about to kill the Nexus. So GE, resilient after seeing last game maybe as well, going not too harshly on that. And here we see Juhao, of course, on time Kenshi is tanky, but he isn't really a threat. Here we see the Megana coming out, mid-air by Hero, looking really sick, but he does basically no damage by now. Not really a threat to be feared by the side of Genius Esports, and they can just keep diving with the Yone, with the Viego. Nothing to respect on their side. And yeah, maybe should have respected the Corki damage a bit more. But other than that, very good dive by them. And this opens the map up even wider for them. One more fight and the game's over for Team Secret if it happens to go the way of Genius Esports.
Yeah, very true. And unfortunately for Team Secret, they're essentially in the position of we have to win every fight. They only need to get lucky once. And that is not where you want to be by any means. And lucky is actually not fair. GE has not been lucky. They have been excellent this game. As it is 1 minute and 40 seconds until the Dragon. Both teams on Soul Point. It will potentially be the fight that decides the game. 6k gold lead. Honestly, not super relevant right now. 6k gold at 37 minutes is not a disastrous amount.
That definitely isn't the case. What is more the case is even that the items are coming through for the side of GE. That the Gwen likely has a dev cap by now. Other than that, they just play basically against infinite scaling from the center. That's kind of the only problem that GE has if the game prolongs for too long. But actually, even that is not that much of a problem right now, as they can just basically dive wherever they please and just get onto Artifact and zone him off to really get any rocket down and then just nullify that champion almost completely. And now what I want to see from side of GE is establishing the vision control, get this to the soul, or maybe even just get a good fight if they happen to find an opening. With Yona, it can happen very quickly.
Yeah, and they're just trying to press these two lanes forward, the mid lane and the bot lane. As you can see, Coded moving that one in, and they just don't want to even let Team Secret get close to the Dragon. GE is happy just to not even fight for it and just get that soul for free.
And that's exactly how you should approach it. Don't give them a single opening. You did it last game. And here,
in goes Blazers. He only hits onto Juhao, though. Really not what you want from that Yone ult. So one powerful team fight tool down for a little bit. But of course, you can see how fast that circle is filling up. That ultimate is not too far away. Artifact has a huge job to do as Hero goes gold coded, moving on forward. Where is this package? I have my eyes glued to this Corki. He still has it locked and loaded. They pull the Dragon, slay it around the backside of the pit. Team Secret, this is your time. This is your moment. What can they actually do? 4k health on the Dragon. Yijin safely in the back of the pit. His stealth runs out now. They need to stun him, and there it is. It is secured there by Penguin. They will get the Mountain Soul. They will get the shield, but can they win the fight? It's 1-for-1 at the moment, but Blazers has found his way onto the back line. Can Eddie actually wipe this one out? Juhao doing everything he can, but he can't keep him gobbled up for long enough. It's a two-front fight, and it's going the other way, as it is 2 for 3. Triple kill for Coded, but Soul for Secret. And Crincy, we have a game, as this one is still going to continue. The bot lane tower falls. Penguin, you need to be so careful. He's not pincered, he's pincering! As he steps on down, takes out the monkey, throws out the needles, and he might have just won them the game!
He just wanted the game. Grand just goes completely over. I mean, it's just him not being locked up with those, but the other way around. The soul goes over to the secret, but it's just kited so beautifully by Slater, and they just win enough time to win this fight. TP coming in by Coated, and Penguin tries to fight it, but he just can't. And with that scaling advantage from side of GE, they just really steal that